Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modeling tutorial here. And today in this episode, what I think we will do is firstly we need to correct something on the door here that I have forgotten about. And then what we'll maybe do is we'll work onto the intake and maybe onto the roof before continuing smoothing off around the back here. So we'll think about the door first. Something that I didn't realize or didn't really notice was that running down here that there is an edge. So if we go into the view here, we can see that this whole section here, running all the way along here, is in fact like a gap, a panel gap, which is different to the main coupe. So we'll add that in first, and this gap is going to run down inside here. So I think for this, what we'll do is I'm going to grab my insert edge loop, and we'll let's see, so we've already got a doubled up line here, which we added when we smoothed. So maybe what we'll do is let's grab that whole length inside there. So we'll maybe grab the whole of that and we'll hit delete. So we can see now that we've got that line running across, and let's just double check that's in the right spot, which it is. So we can see that we've got that gap running through there quite nicely. So let's maybe separate these elements just to make it a little bit easier. And firstly we'll just grab all of the components for this, so all of the edges along here. Including this one. And I'm going to hit Control E. And let's drag this in here, something like that, which looks okay. And then that'll allow us then to quickly grab Edit Mesh and merge those vertices. And then if we can get back across here, we'll do the same there. By the way, in between episodes, I applied a slightly different blend to the car, just to give it a little bit more obvious that these are completed sections. And then I think let's go for insert edge loop, and let's just drop one to run all the way along there. Okay. So if we hit now 3 on there, we can see that that's looking really nice. Let's go and grab this one, and we're just going to do the exact same. We're quickly going to fill in that gap, and because it's a completely side-on panel, it means that we can just, oops, I think I've missed my smaller edge here. Because it's side on panel, we can do that just on the world option again. Quickly merge these, edit mesh and merge, and we'll do the same bit down here. And then just like above, let's grab and loop, and we'll drop it in here. Looks like we're missing one down on that side, and the same there, so let's just tighten that up a little bit and drop one down this edge too. Okay, so now we've got that nice panel gap there. It's going to be kind of hard to see because obviously the door panel is going in instead of down, so we could adjust that if we wanted to. Maybe grab them both. Just grabbing both the vertices here. Maybe what we could actually is let's see if we can. We can't grab the edge too much. So we could grab all of these edges going along here. Just the edges that were part of the extrusion that we made. Just double check the other side is fully selected. And I could just simply pull those down. Looks a little bit weird. maybe do so. I'm wondering if I have no transfer. Well, we'll just leave that. That'll be fine. We've got the little gap. The shadow will go inside there, so that'll be okay. So we've got that little gap in there, but it should be fine. Okay, so that's looking good. The door has a little bit extra as well. So as we come up here, the top of the door has a little bit of an extra kind of come off, which is about, say, maybe here. Something like that. So let's maybe grab these edges here. I'm just going to hit Control E. And it just comes off a little bit, maybe something like that. Which I think is about right. Yeah, that's looking okay. It's going to be hard to see on our blueprints here because it's not really in an area that we can see it too well. So we hit 3 on that, and that's looking okay as is, so we'll just leave that for now. Okay, so they're looking good, so let's quickly duplicate special with these. Okay, so that's looking fine. So we've corrected that error really quick. We've got that line inside there, which is good. So let's think then down here. So can we maybe think about the air intake on the side here? We can maybe do this little bit, the side skirt too. And just having a look, and that looks like it should be fairly simple. But we'll start with the intake. So let's maybe just grab all of those edges here. I'm going to hit Control E. And on the world, we're going to pull these in on the X. Just a little bit, something like that. Because there is a little bit of thickness to that element. We'll hit 3 just to see how it's looking. Okay. So we've got to remember when this smooths off, we do want that to curve around at the top, similar to how it is there. So that's looking like it should be fine in terms of that level of curvature to there, so that's good. So I think what we'll probably want to do with this is I'm going to grab all of these edges all the way around here. Maybe take these ones too. And I'm going to say Edit Mesh, and I'm going to hit Bevel on these. And I'm going to reduce the fraction down and increase the segments just by 1. Take the fraction down maybe a little bit more, something like 0.3 and then 2 fractions. And the reason I'm going to do that is just because that's going to help shore up the edges here without us having to draw a line all the way around the edge to do so. And then hopefully, if we grab our Insert Edge Loop, we should just grab and drop one just there. And that's looking quite good. I'm going to grab an edge loop and I'm going to drop it, maybe not an edge loop, let's drop in a multi-cut just there, so just an extra vertices. I'm going to drop in an edge loop, maybe just about here, because it does look like on some of these images here that there's a little bit of a defined kind of shape to this portion here. So let's maybe grab this. We'll just merge it straight up there and see how that looks. Okay, so we can see now we've got a little bit more definition to there, just a little bit. We don't need anything crazy, but I'm pretty sure that we do have a bit of definition in there, which is nice. So let's grab that. And what we could do is apply our blend. And that just helps us see that just a little bit more. It's really subtle, but I can definitely see it on a bunch of the images, so that's looking good. So we should be able to duplicate that special too. So we can see on this side here now we're starting to get really nice build put together. Let's go for this little section down here. We will add some honeycomb inside there. Let's go for this little section down here, and this should be simple enough. I'm going to grab my insert edge loop tool. I'm going to drop one about halfway and just grab the scale tool and just scale out a little bit, because it does look like there's a little bit of curve to it. And then it shouldn't really be too much to this. I'm going to drop a loop up here. I'm going to drop a loop down here, and then we'll maybe go up to the edge, something like that. There we go, so we can just see that that's got a little bit of a curve to it, which is nice. A little bit of a curve over here as well. So I think that should be okay. There we go, so that's looking good too. So I'm just gonna, move the pivot here into the center. And let's have a go at duplicating this special there as well. It's looking good. I think I'm missing my material just here. Okay, so we're looking good there. Okay, so let's think about what's next. We do have a couple more panel gaps to go around for this portion, so maybe what we'll do is maybe we'll cut out this boot lid section, the kind of the engine cover. So let's go. I'm going to use the multi-cut tool for this because it doesn't look like it's going to be consistently spread as we go through here. We're going to want it to be a similar distance to what we have down here, so I'm just going to take the smooth off and zoom in nice and close. And let's grab a multi-cut, so something like that. I'm going to do this in my perspective because I think that will help me keep a maintained distance. I'm just going to run around the whole section here. I've already gone through and double checked that my mesh was fine before the episode for the most part, so I shouldn't run into any issues here. But definitely would suggest to you guys that if you are working through this just now, you definitely want to go through and just make sure that all these points are nice and uniform and looking good before you worry too much about going around with the edges here. Okay, so that's looking good. So I'm happy with that distance. So let's grab that all the way around and just hit delete. So now we've got a nice gap running all the way up there, which is good. The gap does continue for the spoiler as well. So I'm just going to double check everything's aligning nicely here. Looks like everything's doing okay over there, so I'm going to grab my insert edge loop and I'm going to reflect that same kind of distance and then select all the faces and hit delete. Okay. I'm just doing a quick look. Yeah, it definitely does run all the way around the back, that gap there, so that's fine. Let's maybe draw in all of the panel gaps. We've got one more for the rear bumper here, so let's just double check that this one's okay. Let's just pull these points up a little bit more, because we do have this line here is quite defined, but only eventually, it's not at first. I'm going to just put my transform on. And I'm just going to go to one side of the line up here. Okay. I'm going to go we'll drop an edge loop in here. Just a similar size to all the other gaps. Let's grab that too, hit delete. I'm just having a look around on my references now just to see. I don't think there's any more major panel gaps apart from one that runs across over here and up here. So let's maybe I'm just going to make sure that I'm on one side of the line here. Okay, and I'll go up the top side here as well. Okay, and we might as well throw these in whilst we're here, so we'll drop a line running down there. It's getting a little bit thick as we move towards the right here. So again, still with my edge transform, we'll just make that a little bit closer. Okay, and then we'll drop a line up here as well. Okay, and let's just remove these two. And the reason I'm going to do this now is just so that if I'm adding any geometry anywhere else, adding some details here, it's not necessarily going to flow any further than it needs to. So we'll get all those cut out nicely. And what we can do at this point is we can go to, let's go to mesh and let's separate those. Okay, so we're looking good here. So we'll have a think about what we could work on next. I did say that we would do the roof next, or we could do the roof next, but I'm kind of thinking that maybe what we could do is we could run down this section here, just because we can get this all matching up nicely. So let's go for over here. I'm just going to remove the smooth from these just to help me out a little bit. Okay, so I'm looking around here, we've got all of this is intact, and part of it, we do have a lip spoiler that goes here, which we could probably model at some point, which looks quite nice. And then we'll probably need to address some of the geometry over here, where the roof kind of meets underneath, just to make sure that's matching up, because when it comes to doing the interior, we don't want to be messing around too much with this. So we want to get as much geometry done because we may have too much to work with. So let's have a think about here. And let's start by extruding a little bit. So I'm going to grab all of these edges here. I'm going to leave that top one just for now. I'll grab all of these. I'm just going to grab all the side facing ones. So maybe all of those ones. I'm going to hit Control E. And we'll bring that in, and we don't want to bring it in too much. We just want to bring it in the same as the lower portion of the wing there, of the rear quarter. Okay. That's okay. I'm going to grab now these edges here. I'm going to pull in on the blue for that, and we are going to want to obviously merge these two together. I'll just select them both and hit edit mesh and merge, just so they meet in the middle, which is good. Let's grab all of these top edges. And this one here. Hit Control E. I'll pull these in on the blue. Again, a similar kind of distance. That's looking fine. And I'm going to target weld these together, so I'll bring that one down there. So that's looking good. And then let's just take this one and this one. And take that in there. see where those are. So I think these ones should meet in the middle. So I'm going to merge those. I'll probably just do the same down here as well. Something like that. Okay, so we've got all that kind of blocked out, added some depth to that. Let's just have a go here at hitting 3. See what we're working with. So for the most part we're looking okay. We obviously want a little bit more definition going around here, but we're okay. So let's start with the easy bit, which is this bit here. So I'm going to grab all the edges associated here, including the ones. Did I include? Yeah. So including those ones underneath and underneath here. I'm going to bevel those, just like we have in the past. We're going to reduce that fraction right down. .1 looks okay, and then we'll drop that extra segment in. I don't really know why it's doing this curve, so I'm just going to grab these and then just have a go at straighten those off. That looks okay. And it looks like it's done the same over here, so I'm going to grab these. Straighten those off too. Not really sure why the bevel's done that, but it's looking okay. Okay. So now we can see we've got a super nice defined edge that runs up there, which is good. Let's have a look at cutting this across here. So I'm going to drop in a multi-cut, and I'm going to drop it just about there, which will now allow me to drop in an edge loop over here. I'm just going to go all the way around, so it should be fine. And then we want to get rid of this triangle. So I'm going to merge that over there. Still looks a bit weird there, so let's just pull that down. Okay, so we're looking a lot sharper over here, which is good. Okay. And then we just want to do the same over here. So let's grab our multi-cut tool, because it looks like it's going to be a bit awkward, so maybe just draw this one in. So we're going to run all the way around, up over here, and then around on the back here too. And then same story, and zoom in nice and close, and bring these vertices and merge it there. And again, still a little bit weird, so I'm going to bring that down. Whilst we're here, let's drop a loop there. Let's see how that looks. So we can see now that's looking really nice, going all the way up and over. If I smooth this one too. So we can see that's travelling nicely up there, which is looking really nice. Let's have a look over here, because it looks like we had an extra line here. So we can see here we have an extra line that runs up and over. So maybe what we'll do is let's have a go at adding that in, and then just seeing what kind of damage it does, if it does any. So we'll hit 3 and 3. Oops. Okay, so we can see that's not done any damage over there, which is good. And that's just going to help us shore up that line all the same. So that's looking nice. Let's do one of the easiest loops and drop one over here. Could also drop one all the way over here as well. Okay, so starting to get some real shape to this. We can see as it goes all the way up and over there, which is looking nice. We're looking okay along here as well. We want to get a bit more definition, especially around the headlight there, so we'll think about that. We do have this line, which is really, really well defined. It's only well defined to a point though. It's only well defined till about here. So I think the top will be the best area to go for this. Well, if we insert an edge loop, see where it goes. Okay, so it stops at the top there, so that's fine. Okay, so I think what we'll do for this edge loop is let's drop it super close up here. Something like that. And let's go here. Let's go here and let's get rid of this one and these. I'm going to hit Control and Delete at the same time, and I'm just going to merge these together and we'll see how that looks. Pull that down there. Okay, so we can see that's super nicely defined as we go up there. It probably is a little bit more defined than that though. So maybe what we could do is, now I don't know if this will work, but what we could do, we could try another edge loop on here. Before we do though, let's maybe think about this area, because I think looking again at the reference images here, looks like it will probably be okay actually. So let's go for this edge here. Oops, that's not the right tool. So let's grab this. Maybe have a go at running it down here. And then obviously we'll want that to skip underneath as well. And let's just snap these vertices in here, and then we'll go just there. Okay, so we'll do something like that. Okay, that's looking good. So I think this does need to be more defined, so I don't know if this is going to work, but let's maybe go again with this, maybe from this corner and then over here. We'll grab our insert edge loop. And let's have a go at dropping this up here. Something like that. Okay. And then we'll link those together and hopefully we won't get any creases. Hopefully that'll look okay. Okay, so we can see there that that is much sharper, and then that kind of fizzles out as well quite nicely. We can also see what that's done for us is that's really nicely straightened this off down here too. The only real thing that's remaining then is at the top here. So let's maybe go and grab our edge, and we'll go on this side. And again we'll bring this in here. We don't really care too much for triangles just now. So you can see there we've got a little bit of definition up there too, which is good. Okay. And then I think maybe just this lip is really the last thing. So let's run a loop on here and see where it goes. Okay, so that's just going to stop at that point there. This might be super messy, but let's have a go at bringing that and just merging it here. And then if we grab our vertices, let's just take that over there. We've got corner looking something like that. Okay, so that's looking okay. That's looking not too bad at all. And then I believe as well we're going to want to have one more edge loop up here, something like that, so we can get that defined line up there as well. Okay, so I think that rear quarters there is looking quite good then, so let's have a go at sticking our blade material on there. So we can see that's looking nice and smooth as we run over with those reflections. It's looking quite nice as we get to the back as well, so that's looking good. Let's maybe duplicate special over there as well. So we're really starting to make some waves with this. I think what we'll do in the next episode then is we'll maybe go along the lower bumper here, because we'll get the parking sensors in. We'll have two to add on the bumper there before it's mirrored. So we'll have a go at this bit. Maybe we could look at the spoiler area as well before we start to move up the back. Alright guys, so if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. Subscribe if you're new, and if you're interested in catching the rest of the series, and I will see you guys in the next one.